What's up, horror fam?
You know what time it is. Let's get into this. All right, everybody, what's up? Ryan and I are over here just fucking off in the dark.
You know, I'm in a freaking dark room with a weirdo.
Yeah.
Asking me if he can, like, rub my leg and stuff.
Yeah, it was that middle leg I was wanting to rub.
He's like, your third one. No, your third one.
Do it.
Anyways,
Get
guys, what's up, horror fam? We have a damn great show tonight. We're pretty happy. We're pretty excited. We were going to talk about this last week, but we wanted to try some new stuff last week. Worked out fine. Now we're doing this one, and we got somebody on that's going to help us talk about some probing.
We got a probe.
Some aliens. But no, we have a special guest, and we will let him introduce himself. Bring him in here. Bring him in. What's up, Greg?
Hey, what's up? Horns up.
What's up, everybody?
All right, hey, Greg, why don't you let everybody know who you are, where you're from, what you got going on?
I am Greg, and I'm the host of Monsters and the Mosh Pit, and that's a podcast that covers one horror movie in depth, scene by scene, spoilers, everything, and then one heavy metal album, track by track breakdown. And then I also make a specialty drink that I post on TikTok every episode and share it on Facebook with all my peeps. But the premise of the show basically is I'm teaching my best friend Dave about horror and heavy metal. He's a goofball and has never watched or listened to anything. So there's a cast of characters. I got 5 total of us on the show, and we have guests all the time, and we break down movies like The Exorcist, The Sadness. We've done Tremors. We've done a lot of different weird shit. And then we get into movie or albums like, Slaughter to Prevail to Iron Maiden. You just never know.
Dude, that guy is so nuts, man, from Slaughter.
Oh, really?
Alex Terrible. Yeah, he's amazing.
You never heard Slaughter?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, he's freaking, that guy is crazy, man.
Fuck yeah.
It blows my mind. It blows my mind how he can do that and just and be able to talk the next day.
Yeah. So this is going to be kind of cool because, you got 3 huge ass metalheads sitting in the same place talking about aliens and horror movies and all kinds of shit, man. So we're going to have a good show tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I was going to say, perfect guest to have on.
Hell yeah.
And, you guys know how our show is. Sometimes we start talking about something and then we wind up talking about something completely different by the end of the show.
We'll tell you we're going to do this, but then we don't do it. That's how we are. That's how we roll, bitches.
It's the best, man. Straight conversations, and you'll find out where they go. You never know where you're going to wind up. But we had some cool stuff with all this UFO stuff going on, the hearing they had. All this, I guess I want to start this off. I know where JT's at. He knows where I'm at. Where are you at, Greg, when it comes to UFOs, UAPs, all this stuff?
Obviously, there are things such as UFOs, UAPs, because they're just unidentified. If I buy Timmy, from down the streets drone off of him, it's an unidentified flying object if I'm flying it outside, right? So that's one way to take it. And then there's also the other way to take it of, someone that's, from outer space,
Right.
So mathematically speaking, there's no way we're alone in the universe, right?
Agreed.
It can't be that way. It's not possible.
No.
Right.
Just mathematically speaking. And that doesn't mean that we're visited every day by the aliens, though. So that's kind of where I stand on it. I'm the ever optimistic skeptic. Like, I want to be proven wrong more than anything in the world because I want to believe in ghosts. I want to believe in aliens and have those experiences. But I'll always be a skeptic because facts are more important to me. So that's where I stand. But I'm excited to have this kind of conversation with you guys tonight because I only get to talk about like random stuff with people in real life. So this is fun to do it on the internet.
Well, we will too, unless you want to save it. But we can get into a little bit of the. You're wanting to save it for a podcast with you and your buddies, but we could talk a little bit about the.
Yeah, we can definitely tease that, but I definitely want to get into that with them here.
Well, we can wait. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Not an issue.
We'll tease it. What we're alluding to is simulation theory.
Yeah.
Your listeners out there that know what that is, and I have two really, really firm believers of simulation theory on my podcast, so it's gonna be fun to talk about.
Oh hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of, as far as I go, I want you to enter to
Which is both ways.
yes. Well, anyway, or as they say, any which way but loose. That's the way I go. It's 2023, guys. Come on. But anyways, no. So with me, so when it comes to, if we're talking UFOs, of course, we're talking about flying objects. We're not talking about actual beings. So when it comes to, the UFOs, UAP stuff, I'm with you on that. Like, it's kind of like anything that we just can't describe. We don't know what it is. It's unidentified.
Right.
And there's too much stuff that the government lies about and don't want us to know, or just make up stuff for us to believe certain things anyway. So I'm with you on the fact that I like to, like, kind of with the paranormal thing, until something happens to you personally, you're not really going to get it, and you probably won't believe until something happens to you, which is fine. It's awesome. I think being a skeptic is the greatest, as long as you're open-minded.
Yeah. Everybody's a skeptic until it happens to them.
Right. And just be an open-minded person about everything in life. That's the way I look at it. But when it comes to like the aliens, I'm on the aspect of, and we're going to dig deep into this, so this is going to be a great episode. But I'm on the aspect of, I think that aliens, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call them, I think they're already here, and they've been here for a long time, and they've been doing things for a while. What they are, who they are, I don't know. But I mean, I have a feeling they're already here, and I got a feeling that we're probably going to see maybe a little bit more of who they are coming out or whatever in the near future. Who knows? But I can see why you'd be a skeptic about it.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a firm believer in that myself. If you can't see it yourself, or it doesn't happen to you, then you really have no proof. There's no 100% proof.
And like he said a while ago, about the government and stuff. Did you happen to get to watch the Oversight Committee meeting that the government had about UAPs and UFOs?
Not all of it, but I did see some of it.
Yeah. So that was just proof that the government has been lying to the public for years. Well, let me rephrase that. They've not been telling us the truth.
Right.
They're not necessarily lying to us. They're just not giving us all the information.
Yeah.
And that was a huge, huge step forward in society as a whole, in learning about what's going on out there. These UAPs, this ATIP program, UFOs, all of this stuff, they touched on a lot of that stuff. And what was cool is in that the three main guys that they interviewed were very high-ranking officials in the military. And these guys were military and government. And these guys just basically gave them all the information they could.
Right.
Because some of the stuff is still thought of as top secret. It's actually pretty interesting. Within that, they were talking about, it was Commander Fravor was talking about how one of the things that there was some footage came out off the East Coast, off of, I think it was North Carolina, came out, and it was iPhone footage. Well, the government, as soon as they saw it, they squashed it, and they basically hid it from the public, and they deemed it as classified. And his question is how can this be classified? It's fucking iPhone footage.
Right.
It was a civilian took this footage on their iPhone, and now the government has classified it and won't release the video footage.
And so for me,
why?
I will say that out of all three of them, the only person I really trust their words is Fravor.
Yeah.
Listening to the other guys, there's some stuff that they were talking about that kind of brought in my bullshit meter. And like Fravor seems like, now granted, I've heard also a 3-hour interview on Rogan with Fravor too, so I got a little bit more deeper of what he believes, what he saw, what happened. He just seems a lot more believable than the other guys, because there was some stuff said, like, and there, like at one point, I can't remember if it was Grush or the other dude, but he said something about how he can't really talk about something because it's kind of, you know, classified and this and that. Right. He said, but then he's right after it. He says, but I know that me and my wife have seen things.
Right.
So my thing is like, okay. Does your wife have the high ranking of having that classified information? Because how the fuck is she seeing this shit?
Right.
But you can't.
From personal experiences, though, just like we were just talking about, I've never seen a UFO. I've seen things that I would be like, maybe that's something, but it's probably just a plane through a cloud, right? So, but maybe they personally have had an interaction that they believed was a UFO. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, which is possible. To me,
because he's not lying, right? He's not lying when he says my wife and I have seen something, but he's talking about, you know, 3 lights in the woods.
Yeah. Right.
That was Sasquatch walking with a flashlight.
Squatch.
That's right. He was coming for his beef jerky in my butt.
Where's Greg's ass?
Yeah. So I don't know. I found that whole interview pretty enlightening. You know, the guys that they were interviewing, you know, like that Graves guy, you know, some of the stuff he was talking about, you know, the civilian type stuff, you know, because a lot of these guys now they're in these like, I don't know organizations that actually follow UFO sightings and stuff. And it was funny, when that Ryan Graves guy was talking, they specifically asked him, you know, because then there's the stigma of, you know, you're a pilot for the military or commercial pilot and you've seen something, you know, now you want to try and tell somebody and, you know, bad things happen. People call you a kook and all kinds of shit.
Or you wind up hanging in a tree.
Right.
Yourself with a shotgun.
I mean, that's only if the Clintons are involved. But,
I was going to say, what was that in the 90s or the 80s when that happened, when somebody was trying to speak out and then that guy like killed himself?
Well, you know, that happens a lot. But you know what's funny to me is that so I'm a conspiracy theorist guy. I've always have been. I'm big into all kinds of stuff. But what's funny to me is that
he giggles. I giggle too, Greg. So
it is. Hey,
it is what it is.
All I can say is that the stuff I was hearing in the early 90s, from the early 90s, is happening now. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah. But
you know, honestly, I never in my lifetime thought I would ever hear the government come out and talk about UFOs and UAPs. And
but what I was gonna say is
I just didn't think they'd ever do it.
What's funny to me is that whenever stuff like this happens and people magically, like, you know, die or something, they disappear or whatever, people are like, oh, the government couldn't keep it secret that long. What are you guys talking about? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, people do come out and say what's going on. They just wind up dead or they wind up getting paid off. Like, it's not like they kept it a secret. I mean, it's been talked about since you were a kid, you know, it's been talked about forever.
Project Blue Book was what? That was started
40s.
In the 40s,
right? I think 45, 46.
Yeah.
Right after Roswell.
Governments are really, really good at not telling the entire truth or not telling what is, they allow you to perceive things. There was one of the guys during the committee he said about non-human biologics, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what is a non-human biologic?
Exactly.
A bird is a non-human biologic. He just didn't say he didn't say we have avian biologics.
Yeah, exactly.
He said non-human biologics. So, you know, that's where a lot of the speculation can come in, and that's how they get away with these things, because they may have a little green guy sitting in the corner, but by saying non-human biologics, they've opened it up to every other biologic.
Right, exactly.
Right.
I mean, it's smart if you want to keep a secret. It's smart, you know. But then you look at stuff. I mean, I don't know if you've looked much into like Bob Lazar and the stuff he's talked about and everything. I know you know who Bob Lazar is, but like when he was talking about element, was it 115? I think it's what it is.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He's talking about that back in the 80s. And he said that he took some of it and he kept it, and that's why they were after him and whatnot and all this kind of stuff. And then kind of find out that down the road, you find out it does exist and it is something that they actually have.
Yeah.
That they can't explain what it is, where it came from. Because it's a type of metal or something like that that they have. But I mean, certain things come out that are true. There's a little bit of truth in everything.
Mm-hmm.
But like you just said, to me, it seems like there's a little bit of truth and non-truth in everything the government says. It's
right. Yeah, you're right.
You know,
that's how people in positions of power remain in power.
Exactly.
You know, they want you to buy in, and they want you to be, go along with the flow without asking too many questions. But especially with democracy, the whole idea behind democracy is about an educated populace. That's what the actual definition is. You know what I mean?
Right.
An educated populace that creates or makes the decision to put a ruler in place or a leader in place. I don't like to use the word ruler because that really gets on different.
It gets on some people's nerves. Yeah, I get it.
Gets on my nerves.
Yeah, that gets on a whole different plane or subject. So, but that's the thing about these definitions and the way these government officials and these people of power, monarchs, czars, all these different people, they all practice the same thought process of divulging just enough information to keep you on their side or to keep you guessing or to have the conspiracy theories with their tinfoil hats. I found a tinfoil hat the other day and I legit laughed my ass off because it was just sitting on the side of the sidewalk. And I said, oh no, they got that one. So
that'd be me. But they ain't gonna get me. It'll be a problem for them.
Those are the kind of things that I think about. I really break it down to how much research did that one particular person do before they started spouting off and making videos and all this other kind of stuff. Like, you guys
sounds like us.
I was just about to say, you guys are fairly intelligent, and I appreciate the things you say. But you're a lot like my show, where a lot of shit comes out that you didn't realize how dumb we actually are. So
you're right.
Well, you know what though? Honestly,
you're absolutely right.
It's we're honest, and the more honest you are, the more vulgar you're going to be. The more freaking just it's just
to me that's the absolute best way you can be, and that's as a society, if we're going to move forward and continue with this process, because this is getting really weird, but like America is a really young country.
Yeah, for sure.
Part of the reason why we're struggling is we have so many people trying to buy in and do these little things. We just need a little bit more honesty and people saying, "No, I don't agree with that, but here's the reason why. But I respect your opinion."
Right. And that's the whole thing. It's funny because it's funny because we talk about this often on our show. Like something that's supposed to be creepy and like niche, like horror movies and even metal music and stuff like this. It actually brings people together a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a huge conspiracy guy. He's not. He's a science guy.
Yeah, I look at stuff more scientifically.
Which
I want answers to things, and Ryan doesn't. I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound fucked up, but Ryan doesn't necessarily believe in science because science was created by man, and I get that. I totally get why he feels that way.
Skeptic of science.
I just I feel like there are things that we can prove scientifically. And then there are things we can't.
Right. I believe in the science of this video that we're making right now. You live where you live. We live where we live.
I don't know anything about what the fuck's going on here.
No, but I know it works.
I watched a YouTube video though.
But I know it works because we're doing it right now. We're going to make a video and we're going to put it up. Now, do I know?
So you can see my big nose in person.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
But now I don't necessarily know that what happens whenever you freaking send a rocket or a satellite or whatever a million billion miles away from Earth, and magically we can freaking get something from here to there, but yet my internet goes out from my kitchen to my bedroom.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that don't make sense to me. All right. I'm not saying I'm a common sense person. That's the way I look at life. If my gut tells me it kind of doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense.
You paid $50 for your internet. They paid $5 billion for the president to pick up a landline and talk to the guys on the moon.
Yeah, from a landline. From a landline. I tell you what, I'm gonna call these guys from a landline. But anyways,
but hey, this shit works.
It was a VHF signal that was used through the actual broadcast system. Anyway.
Right. Now I got you.
Nerdy. I'm nerdy when it comes to this kind of stuff. So
right.
Oh, right. No,
that's
for
perfect,
sure.
man.
Well, and what's crazy about it is so just talking about the moon landing, where the government screws up is that they actually did use footage from their training and stuff in the actual footage that they gave out to the American people, because they said they lost the footage or whatever, but that's where they fucked up. They lied about some shit. And once you lie about some shit, no one's gonna trust you. You know what I mean? Like I speak from the heart and from the truth. So if I say something to you, even though you think it sounds like, oh, he's fucking crazy, I actually think that. It's not like I'm fucking just speaking some bullshit.
He actually thinks he is crazy.
As long as you're aware that you're crazy and everyone knows that you're crazy, then it's okay.
Then it's not crazy, is it? I mean, that's not crazy.
All I can tell you, I promise you, is a lot of that stuff I don't get into. I don't care. I don't care about flat Earth. I don't really care. Honestly, I don't care about the fucking moon. I don't care about none of that bullshit. I care about what affects me and my family.
I do care about the moon. I dance naked under that son of a bitch.
You know what I care about the moon? I care about that it helps the Earth it helps the whole Earth survive.
Yes.
Sun, the moon, and the Earth.
Yeah.
So it all helps out that. I believe in that. But when it comes to when it comes to government stuff, I don't trust them. I don't trust any of them, no matter who it is.
Right.
I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a common sense person. I don't trust none of them. So
see, and I'm the other side of that. I'm fascinated with space and science and the moon and
Oh no, for sure. I
shit,
think space is awesome. Like it's cool.
The final frontier.
But you can't trust all that shit. You can't trust anything they fucking tell you. I can't see it with my own eyes. I don't trust it.
Greg's like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Elbows up. Back to the mosh pit.
Yeah. But anyways, so back to this stuff. No, like you said before, we do we know that there's ever been UFOs here? We don't know. Everything is based off of, hearsay and what like people from that time said when that shit happened. That's what I go off of. I go off of like what was very first reported when it first happened. The first 15 minutes that shit happened. Like what was said and what was reported the first 15 minutes that shit happened in Roswell. That's what you look at. Because when you hear these recordings from
well, it's all redacted.
Right, but there's like, who are the two guys that went and seen? There's the two guys that went and seen that, and I can't remember their names. They talk about it, and they're like, "This is what happened when we first got the call. Blah 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 blah. This landed in the woods. We don't know what it is. Go find out what it is." That After that, who knows what really the hell happened? Because then that's when it goes from to, do we classify this?
Well, if you're talking about Roswell, that did not happen in the woods. That landed in the desert.
Right.
And according to the government, it was a weather balloon.
Right.
I don't fucking believe that.
Well,
Well, I mean, just look at the weather balloons from that time period. It doesn't look anything like that.
Right.
Even if it was an experimental weather balloon, no one's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to make a weather balloon completely different from all the other weather balloons I've ever seen in my life.
And you're going to know it's a weather balloon when it lands, or when it blows up, just because the way it looks, even though it's completely different than all the rest of them. It's funny.
But I also see the point, like you stated a while ago. If these aliens could travel billions of miles and tens of thousands of light years to another planet just to crash their ship and die, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, You know what? I've heard that. And you know what they say?
Now, did the military fucking shoot that down with some fucking land-to-air missile?
Well, what also they said too is that, you know, I don't believe this necessarily anyway, because, you know, I'm a dimensional guy. Like, you know how my outlook on it. But like they say like maybe their technology fucked up in our atmosphere.
Possibly.
You know what I'm saying? You go through our shit and it fucked it up, and that's what made it crash. Possibly, if that's how you look at it. You know?
They fucked up and fucking crashed their ship trying to roll up the windows and lock the doors.
See, and this is where we differ. We talked about this too. Like, everyone thinks that humans are all freaking, you know, because of the shit you see on TV. If you watch TV in the news, people think that humans are all worthless pieces of shit. But don't get me wrong, there are a bunch of worthless pieces of shit. However, think about like this: if the vast, there's what, 8 billion something people on the earth.
Yeah.
If all of us were worthless pieces of shit, we'd all be dead by now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We'd all be dead.
It's like that Universe 25 theory.
Right. You know, I look at it like the people I meet in person and the people that I've talked to seem to be really fucking cool people. You know what I mean? Hey, dude, music.
Dude, I gotta tell you a funny story.
We got time for that.
You know, I'm fucking old school metalhead, and I'm fucking old. Friday night, I went to see Ghost and Amon Amarth at fucking Hollywood Casino.
Yes.
Fucking absolute fucking killer show. But there was some of the fucking weirdest motherfuckers I'd never seen in my life there. I was like, what the fuck? Even my buddy was like, dude, these kids nowadays are weird. I'm like, well, dude, we're old now. You know? And we weren't the oldest people there by no means. It was probably fucking half the people were our age, you know. Right. But it was just fucking funny, man.
Ghost has definitely brought a different demographic.
Yeah, absolutely. I never saw so many slutty nuns in my life. Dude.
Yeah. Wait. What are we bitching about?
Yeah. Oh no, I ain't bitching. I was like, wow.
That part was amazing.
Yeah. Dude, actually, the fucking show was. Have you ever seen Ghost live?
I've seen Ghost live probably about 5 or 6 times. Yeah.
Really? Okay. So this is like the second or third time I've seen them. Dude, they put on such a fucking killer show, man.
They did. Their first 2 albums are absolute masterpieces, and after that kind of are hit and miss for me. But Amon Amarth, on the other hand, is probably in my top 10 bands of all time.
Oh, really? See, my brother absolutely loved Amon Amarth, and I don't. They're okay. I don't really care for them myself, but I did see one of the coolest things though when they do that song "Put Your Back into the Oar." Fucking 30,000.
You got the fucking
30,000 people in this fucking place, all acting like they're rowing a boat, dude.
Okay,
I was like, "What the fuck?"
Dude.
It was fucking wild, dude.
I've seen Amon Amarth probably 3 times live, and I that's one of my comfort things. I have real bad social anxiety, but for some reason, when I'm in the middle of a mosh pit, I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like to go to a lot of shows. For one, music is my savior. Music is everything to me. It's literally what saved my life. And so I feel comfortable there. And Amon Amarth, I absolutely love seeing them live, you know, when they're, you know, doing the toast with the horns.
The
drummer in the front of the Viking ship. And it's just, they had Vikings come out on stage the one day and fight. And it was
I listened to a lot of that. It's weird. I don't know. I'm very in touch with my pagan side, and like I listen to the chants and stuff just on my before I work out. I'll listen to a fucking chant for like 20 minutes of my first.
You talking about like that Godsmack chant shit?
No. I'm talking about
like throat singing.
Yeah. Yeah, like no, but the actual or Celtic stuff too. I'm huge into Celtic music.
He's over here fucking doing river dance and shit.
Yes, while I'm deadlifting, fucking deadlifting and river dancing at the same time.
Now that's a video I'd love to watch.
Fuck yeah.
No, it's funny.
We're gonna throw that in right here.
I tell you what, though, I do I got into just recently for some reason. I don't know why I never heard them before. But Coheed and Cambria.
Oh yeah.
Dude, fucking Welcome Home.
Yeah.
That's
really
probably
them.
That's probably one of the greatest freaking intro. I love the way the guitar sound.
That's really good.
Dude, that's one of the best freaking introductions into intros into a song. I don't know. They've really dug into them. I like their stuff. And he sounds like Geddy Lee, really.
Huh.
I don't know if his vocals, he sounds a lot like
Really?
Rush. Yeah, dude. To me, he does anyway. I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking.
No, you're not far off.
Yeah, he kind of sounds like it. But anyways, you know, it is what it is.
So talk about tangents. So when you guys watch Greg's show, this is the kind of stuff you're going to get. We're going to talk about metal. We're going to talk about
1,000%.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. So
okay, Greg, I know you've listened to our show a couple times, and I know you've been on and stuff, but like, so with me,
he doesn't even listen to our show when he's on it. What the fuck are you talking about?
But you know, I'm more of a believer going back to the aliens thing and the UFOs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we were talking about aliens.
Right. So I'm more of a believer in a dimensional thing. I think like there's dimensions up or down. There's higher, lower level fucking beings that affect you and shit in your life. And depending on how you are in this life, the next life, whether or not you go up or down on your dimension, you know what I mean? So I don't necessarily think they have to travel through space and time and all that kind of stuff like that. I think they can just open it up and be where they need to be, or be where they want to be at, show up where they want to show up at.
So you're saying you're not a big believer in like extraterrestrials. You're more extra dimensional.
Right. So if you think about it like this, what does extraterrestrial mean?
Basically not of this earth.
Not of this earth.
Right. Or it means what some people are talking. I was listening to someone then talking about extraterrestrial means extra territory. You know, there's more land or whatever. I don't get into it too much because I'm not a really big believer in the whole
territory. Oh, sorry.
I'm more of a I don't give a shit about damn ice wall in fucking Antarctica and all this other shit, you know.
Yeah.
But they talk about how these beings are something comes from extra land. You know, like they tell you to buy land because they're not making any more of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've probably heard that. You know, buy land, they're not making no more of it. So maybe there is more land they don't want to tell us about. Whatever, I don't care about all that. But I don't know. For me, I'm more a believer of, you know, I've seen some crazy shit in my own life too. You know, enough to fucking. And what's funny about it is I don't drink and I don't do drugs. So
it's fucking E.T. Eddie Torres, the extra testicle.
Eddie Torres. But so I can't blame it on a fucking trip. You know what I mean? It's just weird to me. Just like we were just talking about how you said you feel comfortable in a group of people in a mosh pit. You know, that's 100% right. You know, just like
it's just like what you said a while ago, man. You know, metalheads are the same way. You know, metalheads get together and it's a fucking family. You know, people in the paranormal world will get together. It's a family. You know, UFOs. I want to go to a UFO conference, man, because I'm sure they're the same way.
Well, it's a vibe. It's a feeling you get off people, and that's what's. You know, I think that's what we're missing today in this world is people freaking actually getting together, having a good time. And I know everybody's busy.
We ain't here because we don't believe in this shit.
Right. Well, and this is what's cool about what we got here. You know, yeah, we get to talk to Greg. He lives fucking quite a bit away from us. We still get to talk to him and have this conversation right now, like we're here. But it's not really like we're here because you don't get that freaking vibe. You know, you don't get to have that feeling that you actually do get from someone, you know, when you're in person and you're talking to them.
Right.
So it shows you that there is an actual something that you're putting on. You're putting something
There's an energy that bounces off everybody.
You know what I mean? And it may be a fucking stanky ass fart, but
I've been there.
Love it. You love every minute of that pheromone.
Yeah, you know. That's funny as hell, dude.
I released my own scent the other day and everybody in the car was pretty disgusted.
I was watching a ghost hunting video of these dudes, and that's what they had the fucking the ghost box, the IVR, no, the thermal.
Oh, scanners, the FLIR.
The FLIR. Yeah. They're sitting there, and the guy's watching him, and all of a sudden his buddy turned. You see him turn his head around. He's like, do you got the freaking sensor out? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay. He's like, you see something? He's like, no. When he farts and you see it come out. He's like, you motherfucker. He's like, that caught that on the camera though.
That is awesome.
That is
Hilarious.
the number one way to use that camera, in my opinion.
We couldn't have one of those. It'd be going off all the time.
Oh, dude. We're thinking about getting a fart mic on here. Just for it, but you know. But no, so I know it sounds crazy. But I guess like for you, like you were saying earlier, you haven't really had any of those experiences or anything like that. So, you know, you literally wouldn't have that, you know, I don't know what you would call that. Just that experience of it happening and you knowing yourself what you seen or what you heard or what you felt or whatever.
See, but the one thing I do have, Ryan, is I have the want to believe.
Yeah.
Right? I have, like, I love hearing other people's stories of the supernatural and of UFOs and seeing their passion behind it. You know, I live in Mothman territory here in West Virginia, and hearing those people talk about the Mothman. And I grew up in Ohio where the big UFO chase happened. Was in my town. Like, it was around my town.
Wow.
Route 5. You know what I mean? So I grew up hearing these tales and stuff and just expecting to be part of it, and never having that experience. So I say the same thing with and this gets into the faith territory, so I'm sorry if that bothers people, but I'm not, you know, I don't believe in anything because I'm a science person, but I respect and I'm actually jealous of the people that do, because they have comfort in knowing that they believe in something.
Right.
I believe nothing. So I don't have that comfort. You know, when something like when COVID happened, I freaked out because I thought that was the end of civilization.
Right.
You know, I love horror movies, and I was looking at Train to Busan happening.
Yeah.
I was begging.
Something off of fucking quarantine or something.
Yeah. They had my freaking ARs out, clean them, ready to go.
I was. There's a difference between being prepared and being scared. I was both.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, I'm 100% with you, because like I used to be super religious back when I was younger, and that was all myself. That wasn't my family. Never was religious. I just was religious a lot when I was younger for some reason. I went to a bunch of different churches, and then I had questions. Those questions couldn't be answered, and then I started working at this place, and I was working with this older cat. He's probably, back then I was like 16 or 17. He was like, I don't know, 45, 46. And he introduced me to like some conspiracy type stuff. And it really wasn't a conspiracy. It was real shit. You know, the first thing I looked at was Bohemian Grove, which is a real shit. You know, it's weird. Then I got down that rabbit hole, started looking at things, but I really started questioning the whole religious thing. And then I was like, you know what? I'm a believer that that's where I got into my dimension phase. I believe that you level up or you level down and you just keep on going. Your energy goes somewhere else. And, it leads into like the Akashic records and things like that.
Yeah.
It's weird, cause like, so me and my wife, I'm 37. We've been together 22 years. And, like, it's weird. Since day one, since I met her, like, we were best friends for years before we got together. I've known her my entire life almost. And then it just feels like, that's my person. It's always going to be. And we're actually happy, which is crazy.
That's really weird you say that. I didn't know that about you. And that's... Right. My wife and I are very similar. Our 20th anniversary is next September for our 20th wedding anniversary. And we've been together. It'll be 22 years in February. So I'm right there with you. And it's crazy that she's my best friend. Like, she's the only person I love a lot of my other friends, and like I was stoked to talk to you guys tonight, but like my wife's the only one I actually want to speak to every day.
Right.
So it's like that's really cool to hear that there's another person out there like us.
See, that's what I'm saying. So like with the Akashic Records digs deep into that, and then I don't know if you know much about it, but just a rough little thing about it is like basically the Akashic Records is a place you can go to through meditation and all that stuff, but you can find out like your past lives, your present lives, and your future lives. But like they say that like you meet somebody and you're like, damn, I feel like I've known you my whole fucking life, dude. You guys just click and you're fucking cool. That's your tribe. That's your people that you've been with all your lives. You find you end up finding your people. And, that's how I feel about it. I think you're going to find your clan, as they call it, for the Celtic. I'm like 45% Irish. So I've always been deep into that shit, So you find your people throughout your life. It's pretty crazy. I
must have been an outcast in my previous lives as well then, because I don't have anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am. I mean, I'm a loner. Me and my wife, we've been married for almost 18 years now. Been together for 20. And I'm like you, man. She's the one I want to talk to. When some fucking crazy shit happens, I call her.
Yeah.
When, I am just, and when I was younger, I was constantly out partying and chasing women. And, I played in a band for a long time. So I spent a lot of time on the road. And now I'm just I'm content just fucking hanging out at home.
He doesn't want to talk to me. Asshole.
Well, most of the time I fucking screen his calls and I'm like, fuck that guy.
To your listeners and viewers, the intro music to my show is actually performed by you.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
What are you guys using?
Lunatic, I think.
Right. Do you remember what song it is?
I'm trying to think of what song it is. It's Lunatic Reborn, maybe? I think is the one I'm using.
Yeah.
Hell to yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Thanks for that, brother.
I give you shout out all the time. I always say it's
hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
See, that's cool because
I love that, dude.
It's crazy, man.
It's funny. I'm just gonna throw this out there. I just got a text this morning from Andy. Looks like I'm going to Centralia this weekend.
You going to do some recording?
Lunatic weekend.
Hell yeah.
So we don't get together that often anymore, but we all said, hey. And I was hoping, it was so funny because I was like, oh, they want to get together. Fuck yeah, that'll be cool. Maybe they'll, it'll be like sometime next month or something. And Harry's like, hey, how about Saturday? And I'm like, fuck. All right, I better get the bass out and start playing again.
Slap a bass.
Slap a bass.
Slap a bass. No, so that's funny because, like, for me, I have a group of, now granted, I grew up in a town, and when I moved here, there was like 466 people in this town. But, yeah.
Now there's 467.
Yeah. But no, what's funny is I actually have a group of friends I grew up with. There's about 9 of us, and we pretty much talk every single day in a group text message. We've talked almost every day for the last 30 years, almost.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
It's nuts.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool. But, when it comes to like that connection that you have, it's with my wife. That's definitely my person. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because, like you just said, though, that's very rare nowadays. Even when I talk to older couples, like I'll talk to older people all the time. They're like, that's very strange. They just don't see that no more. And I'm like,
hell yeah.
That's freaking crazy. It blows my mind, really.
Do you get you're too young to be with somebody for 20 years. I'm like, well, it's happened.
Yeah. No, I get all the time. How can you be the same chick for freaking 22 years, bro? I'm like, the fuck what do you mean? It's quality, not fucking quantity, motherfucker.
Right.
Have you seen my wife? Like,
right, exactly.
I'm married up. Like, it's no lie. No one is.
Yeah, she's definitely the trophy in this relationship.
I'm playing out of my league here.
There's no question. If something were to happen, like, I would just be alone for the rest of my life because it's just there's no chance that I'm ever gonna get back to that level. It's like, look at me. I'm a 4-year-old bald metalhead. Like, there's nothing going for me here. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Personality.
Well, I ain't none of that either.
Fuck yeah.
That's what I always tell my wife. She's like, "Oh, I love you. You're so cute." I'm like, I'm like, the only thing I got going for me is personality. That's about it.
It's also good that I married a blind woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I did tell you she's blind and mute, right? Didn't I say that?
Yeah. You can't hear me, talk to me, or see me.
You got it made.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
We are horrible people.
That's horrible. So hey, where's the rest of the boys at tonight?
Oh, they're out and about. Dustin is probably shirtless somewhere lifting a weight, I'm sure.
Fuck yeah.
He's pimping First Form products, I'm sure, somewhere.
Hey, I used the shit out of him. So.
At least it's not Dave shirtless somewhere lifting something.
You are 100. He came over the other day, and I told you guys earlier in text message that I was cleaning up my garage because a tree fell on it.
Right.
Well,
that sucks,
they came over to help me cut up this tree 2 weeks ago, and of course, within 10 minutes, Dustin had his shirt off, and I said, "You're going to cut your nipple off with the chainsaw," and I'm going to laugh. And
and then all the girls in the neighborhood are standing out there watching you guys cut.
Yeah, our wives were standing on the porch with our sons, and they're like, "You guys are sexy right now." I'm like, "Get the fuck back in the house! Shut up."
What's all this you guys talk?
Yeah, right. Dustin's out here fucking flexing. I'm out here like, I'm 6'2", 260. I should be like the big boss man, and I look like a fucking flabby monster. He shows up and he takes his shirt off and he's got a wife beater on. I'm like, put your fucking shirt back on, dude.
Yeah, he posted.
You're showing me up here, buddy.
I seen him post a picture. He said he was at a concert and he had like a Led Zeppelin shirt on or something. And he's like, this old lady wanted my shirt, so I gave it to her. The next picture was of him with his shirt off.
Yeah, there's a running joke around here, and it's no matter what happens, if Dustin's here or anywhere around in earshot, we go, and then Dustin took his shirt off.
Yeah.
He was just literally right the road from us in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Was he really?
Yeah, he goes to First Form all the time.
Right on.
Up there,
He's an elite trainer and a Legionnaire. So the elite trainers are always back and forth, and I guess Nickelback and some country dude. Was there a country guy that just performed around here?
Yeah, I just can't remember who it was.
But he met him.
I don't give a fuck who it was.
Well,
it's country.
He's like, check it out, so and so. I'm like, who? He's a country guy.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I seen his posts and stuff about that and whatnot. But
yeah, he's fucking cool.
I'm gonna try to get him to hook me up with some free.
Motherfucker didn't even call us.
He probably didn't.
Like, goddamn, dude, you were right in our fucking neighborhood and you didn't even call me.
It's crazy. I love my cast members. We talk about them as my West Virginia family, and Dave is amazing, and Dustin is obviously my brother from another mother, and then his little brother Andy is just, you never know what the hell he's gonna say or when. And then we have a new person, Emily. We finally brought some estrogen that wasn't from Dustin to the party. And
you have to have your, when you're taking TRT, you gotta have the estrogen blockers. You gotta put the estrogen in there.
So
shit.
I told him the one day, I said, man, you gotta lay off the estrogen because you're getting moody.
Reminds you of fucking Kevin Nash in Longest Yard remake.
Yeah. My nipples are so sore.
Oh my god!
Yes, I love it. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome, man.
So you say, so you're basically you're agnostic, or
you know what? It's weird because I currently don't believe in that. I think when we die, that's it. I just think
right.
It was Men in Black where he says shit, what the hell's his name? He's such a great actor, and I just forgot. I blanked on his name. The dude
D'Onofrio.
Huh?
You talking about D'Onofrio?
Yes, Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
He says humans and you scurry around in your short, pointless lives, and it's just, I'm like, God, if he's right, like that's the most bleak thing I've ever heard a villain say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. And it's funny that you say that because we talk about that all the time, and like. So I believe that there's something after. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying that we're going to go to heaven and see God and sit at the right hand of the throne. I'm not saying that, but there's got to be something after because of beliefs that I have. There's too many, unexplained spiritual phenomena going on for there not to be, I don't think that we just die and end up buried and that's it, we no longer exist. And Ryan's the same way. He doesn't believe that either, but I can see why people believe that. it's a very hard thing to grasp.
Yeah.
And like you had said, you hadn't really had any paranormal experiences. So once you do, and you will at some point in your life, probably have some sort of experience, it changes your frame of mind. For me, what changed it for me was my mom when she was on her deathbed and telling me stories of things that she had seen. And I was like, well, Mom, that's really weird. How could you have seen that? And, blah, blah, blah. And then I found out, oh, she was clinically dead for so many minutes or whatever. And they brought her back. And she talked about, seeing different things, and it scared her. And, and then I've seen some things that I can't explain.
Yeah.
I have seen a UFO, or at least I think that's what I saw. The only thing that I can explain is there was a huge black triangle in the sky right off Highway 44, and I don't know what the hell it was. And I didn't stop to stare at it, but I saw it as I was going down the highway. And I'm not the only one that saw it, because as soon as it was in the sky and it was fairly low, there were a lot of brake lights all over the highway. I know that there were other people on the highway that night that saw the same thing I did. And I can't explain to you what that was. I'm not saying it was aliens. I mean, we're not too far from Fort Leonard Wood. It could have been something fucking weird they were working on or whatever, but I don't know. It was bizarre.
I tell you what it was. It was that damn Sasquatch.
You see my shrine. Oh, sorry, wrong one. See my shrine over here of how do you point with this thing? There you go.
It's weird, huh?
Well, I see your Exorcist poster.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
This is all House of a Thousand Corpses stuff. All here.
Love that movie.
That's the script signed by Bill Moseley. That's me with Sid. That's the album, and that's Sid figure and all that kind of stuff. So
nice.
Anytime I can work, you beat me to it. That's that damn Sasquatch.
Yeah, dude, I absolutely, I'm not a huge Rob Zombie film fan, but dude, the stuff that he's done where he has written his own movies, I think fucking House of a Thousand Corpses is a fucking masterpiece. I really do. I love that film.
If you walk into it and think Rocky Horror Picture Show meets Texas Chainsaw, you will not be disappointed.
Right.
See,
man, that's a weird.
Best way to put it, man.
I get shit on a lot.
Without all the music.
No music.
I get shit on all the time on here podcast because I don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh,
yeah, he's one of those guys.
Then you must be a fucking alien. You're one of the lizard people.
I'm a lizard person.
That's why he's like, the aliens are here.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Know,
I like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but it's just because it's a fun, nostalgic thing for me.
Right.
If you want to get into horror musicals, my favorite though is Repo the Genetic Opera.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, to be fair.
And I guess everyone's.
What's that guy? Fucking. His last name's Head. He played Giles on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah, fuck, I love that dude.
He's in that.
Oh, it's such.
I love that dude.
Yeah, it is.
Paul Sorvino, Bill Moseley.
It's funny. Speaking of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you guys can make fun of me because I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So there you go.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never seen an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie?
I did see the movie, and I love the movie.
With Christy Swanson.
Love that movie.
Paul Rubin's death in that movie is
over the top.
It's so good.
Yeah, classic.
But no,
classic.
See, that's the
I
thing.
wonder if when he died last week, if that's how he died.
Yeah, still do that scene.
Yeah.
God, that'd be so good.
God, I hope so.
That is the man. If there's a video of him dying like that, Paul Rubens, I would rest in peace.
Yeah.
That'd be so good.
He was in a movie theater doing it when he died.
I like that. I was at work when I got the news that he died, and I was like, "Man, Paul Rubens died." And the first thing somebody said, "Isn't he the one that jerked off in a movie theater?"
Yeah.
I was like, Wow.
Oh, you dumbass. Fucking Pee-wee.
Yeah, Pee-wee did.
I was like, it was a porno theater. What are you supposed to do there? Like,
You know,
Well,
that's
it
a fucking
depends.
great
If it was
point.
American Werewolf in London, you're supposed to talk to your dead friend.
oh, yeah, that's another classic. Oh,
Yeah.
That's so crazy to think about that, you know? Like, those theaters were around all over the fucking place back in the day.
Right.
And it's like,
Right.
who the fuck
I think
is-
they still are if you go over to Europe. Like, I know, well, this was 20 years ago when me and my buddy went to Amsterdam, and they were all over the place in Amsterdam.
That's crazy to me.
Wow.
It's just weird. Like,
nothing like going into a theater and sticking to the floor and it not being soda.
exactly. And then you walk in there and the people in there are not fucking the people.
Well,
that
I
you
was
wanna
pissed
be.
off because they didn't sell popcorn. I mean,
They
I
were
don't like-
so-
If I don't have butter, how am I going to do this?
Extra butter. Just put it in my hand.
Just put it in my hand.
all the popcorn tubs come with a hole in the bottom of them. Tunk.
Gosh, I told you by the
Oh,
end of
the
this
joy
show,
of
we're going to be
sex.
talking about some fucking stupid shit.
So this is bad. Anytime I'm on a show, it devolves into fucking chaos. So I'm pretty
yeah.
sure I'm the common denominator.
Yeah.
Well,
It's all, dude. It's all you.
definitely.
Have you not watched our shows? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of your shows, and I know
We're
about
just
the
fucking
Acoustic
morons.
records because of your show. I didn't know.
Right.
Look at us go. We're fucking educators.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I listened to it and I was like, well, that's fucking bullshit. But
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I said that too, and I was the one recording it.
so, like, back to that though, I believe in meditation. Like, I
Yeah.
believe that there's a good reason to do that kind of stuff. You know,
Yeah, me too. I meditated in the shower this morning.
Multiple times.
Multiple
Is important.
Oh.
What is that? I watched that. There's a video up that guy's like, as a professor, and he's like, today we're going to talk about post-nut clarity. he's like, go ahead, ask me any question you want. And then the guy asks questions, like, hold on a second. He walks out of the classroom, walks back in. It's like 2 minutes later, he's wiping his hands off. He's like, and starts answering the guy's question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
shit.
Maybe that's how I need to do the show from now on.
Yeah. Just be like, hold on.
I like to be all
Come back.
hemped up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Keeps me on the edge of my seat the whole time. Plus, I know JT's going to touch.
I tell you
by the end
what,
of the show anyway.
you could really get some ratings and just jerk off your co-host.
No.
No.
told you.
No. All right. well,
Because the
we
thought
tried
of
that. We tried that once and got kicked off Facebook.
Yeah.
thought
Evidently,
of doing
Facebook
that
Live
to
doesn't like
Dave. The thought of
Do
doing
what?
that to Dave is enough to make you sick. So.
that.
Oh,
Emily,
yeah.
Emily, I could definitely we can work that out. I'm sure.
Right.
I don't know if Jessica would be okay with that, my wife, but you know,
Yeah,
maybe-
probably not. Really not.
Just use your wife as a stunt hand.
There you go. Yeah. Like Dustin always says, look, if it's a Dutch rudder, it's not gay, right?
Yeah.
There
it's
you
only
go.
gay if you got feelings.
Well, I don't know if you've listened to any of my guest appearances in the past year, but for some reason Infinity Pool comes up, and maybe because I bring it up all the time because I am 49% gay for Alexander Skarsgård, apparently.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah. So a lot of people like to bring that up and point out that I would probably switch teams if he ever came up.
Yeah, it's funny because like I guess I really don't.
I never thought about switch it, but
You know what's weird?
I
It's
don't
like
know. Maybe.
I don't know what you would call it. I guess you would call it your whatever fucking guy crush thing or whatever. I don't know because I don't really find him attractive, but I do absolutely love. When we talked about the other day with The Witcher, freaking
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill
Yeah.
as The Witcher.
Oh,
That character, I fucking love that character. For some reason, but it's more like I would, that's something I would like to be fucking, out there kicking.
We talked about him Friday night on Headlong into Monsters because he's in Hellraiser Dead World or
Mhm.
Hellraiser
Hellworld. Yeah.
and there's a scene where he's getting a BJ by this smoking hot woman. And she finishes and she gets up and she goes, now it's your turn to go down, big boy. And he makes this face. He goes, like the most disgusted face in the world. And I said, I said, Superman, you turn that fucking cape around and wear it like a bib, and you go to town, buddy.
Yeah, no shit. That's awesome.
Super tongue. Go Hancock. Fucking,
Superman and lick the clit right off of that.
Oh, that reminds me of that. Of course, you guys already know them. I'm not gonna say it because you guys already heard the damn joke. The one with Superman and Wonder Woman and the Invisible Man.
Yeah, I actually told that joke on a podcast
The other day.
And they were like, "That's so old." I was like, "But it's still funny."
It's still funny.
It's hilarious.
Hell yeah.
And nowadays, but it's funny news. Nowadays, people don't even get it anymore. They're like, "Who's the Invisible Man?"
Oh, it's supposed to be that way, isn't it?
Yeah. Gotta cut that out.
Oh, wait.
We're definitely getting fucking canceled now.
That's all right.
They already took off one of our
Fuck
episodes.
them and their cancel culture.
We got to start our own freaking website, I guess, because they took down one of our episodes already. So
Yeah.
This one's coming down for sure just because of my.
Oh, no. We're
what's
good.
fucked up is the
We're
one
good.
episode they took down is
We can't even say the word.
Was the least fucked up episode we've ever
Yeah,
had.
It was a great episode, and they took it down. But
Not
hey,
like
you can
this
still listen to the audio.
You still see the audio. Well, it was about a mixture that you can take that's made out of little people's blood and
ends in chrome.
Oh, okay.
So we did an episode on that, and like what do they call that? What was it?
It made it a year.
Spirit cooking or something, stuff like that.
It made it a year, and then they were like, we're going to take this down because we don't think that it was something about violence towards children. And I'm like, what? I went back and I listened to the entire episode. And not one time did we talk about suicide or violence towards children.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell are they talking about?
And then they took our Facebook
and I'm
page.
like, whatever. And then all of a sudden our Facebook page disappeared.
Oh, yeah. I remember you guys talking about that before.
Sucked. Thousands of followers and shit gone.
Yeah, that was over a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, I remember you talking about losing it. Well, you're always welcome to come on our Facebook page because no one ever visits it. So,
we're hardly. I got to get better.
Just right on the face. You're always welcome to come on our face.
That's like that Korean hand cream. Come Don.
That's like come and go.
Yeah.
Like come and go.
There was a Chinese place the other day that was Fuku. Fuku. I was like, what?
South Park has City Walk, and the dude answers the phone. Hello, City Walk.
Yeah.
We got a place down here called Uranus, Missouri. And every time you walk in the door, they're like, welcome to Uranus.
And then when you leave, they're like, thank you for letting us pack your fudge.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a fudge factory, right?
Yeah, their slogan is we pack the best fudge in Uranus.
I've seen that fudge factory.
There's another one, I think, in Indiana now.
Oh, that's so good. There's Intercourse, Intercourse, Pennsylvania, too. And,
I've heard about that.
It takes 11 hours to get from Intercourse, Pennsylvania to like Cummings, Alabama or something like that. So it takes 11 hours to get Cumming.
Damn.
That's like that. What was that episode of fucking Jackass when they did the My Anus? You remember that? That town called My Anus?
No.
He goes there and it's just fucking Knoxville. Johnny Knoxville. And he's like, welcome to my anus. And he's just walking through the whole town. He's like, there's a big red fire truck in my anus. And he's standing around all this stuff. And he's like, look, he goes,
which is funny because didn't they do that? Didn't they stick like a fucking car or something up somebody's ass and send them to the hospital?
No, it was, who's the one that
did it?
No, it was the dude that died.
Ryan
Dunn.
Ryan. Yeah, it was Ryan.
Ryan Dunn.
Yeah, Ryan Dunn.
But that my anus episode is hilarious, dude. He walks to the butcher shop. He's like, look at all this meat in my anus.
Oh, gotta love it.
Fuck yeah, I love this. See, this is the fun shit.
Yeah.
People are going to love this episode, man.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck aliens. Let's talk about anus.
Yeah, we'll talk about probing.
Oh, we're probing, all right.
Probing for a fucking cancellation.
Hell yeah.
You guys ever see the movie Paul?
Yes, yes.
Probing time.
Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and Seth Rogen. But one of my favorite scenes is when he's in the camper and he goes, "Want any of these?" And he's like wiggling the bagel. Any of these?
Oh my god, dude!
It's funny. My wife and I and her brother and his girlfriend we're planning a trip to Branson in October, and Branson. I don't know if you know about Branson, but it's a big tourist. Okay, so you know about Branson. So anyway, we went over and had dinner with them tonight, and his girlfriend was showing us videos of, because we're trying to figure out what we want to do. We're trying to plan, our trip, and we know we're going to Silver Dollar City, but that's like a whole day affair. And I'm told them I'm going to be fucking wore out by the time we get out of there. But, anyway, they were showing, there's this place down there called Retro 1984.
It's badass. I was just there.
So anyway, there's this one of the scenes they show in the video is this little kid running up to a statue of an alien. And I'm like, hey, it's Paul. And it did. It looked just like Paul from the movie.
That place is actually pretty fucking cool, man.
That's awesome.
That place is, it's probing time. I haven't seen that movie in a long ass time. I probably haven't seen that since it came out.
Oh my god, that's on rotation at my house. So
yeah,
your listeners may not know, but my favorite horror movie of all time isn't a horror movie. It's actually Shaun of the Dead.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
So I'm a huge fan of Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, and I watch anything that they're in.
Yeah.
And Paul came out. I'm like, this is like my childhood. I'm a huge Star Trek, Star Wars, Close Encounters, like all of those, like Aliens. They have all of those fucking callbacks in this show, and it's just like, I love this movie so much because it's all of my childhood.
Right.
Yeah.
I grew up around the same period as Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. They're a little older than us, but for the most part, they have a lot of the same likes that we do.
Right.
It's like perfect. It's like,
it is a great movie. Great movie.
She even quotes it every now and then, which is crazy because my wife doesn't quote movies. But like, if I ever scamper off on my own when we're at a store, she'll come up and she goes, "I was over there on my own."
Like, I haven't watched that probably since I watched it last year. I try to watch that one at least once a year.
It's so good.
Yeah, great movie.
That one and fucking God dang it, why am I trying to blank?
Because your brain's not working.
The fucking two well, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh yeah, that's another great one.
Yeah, I'd love to do a top 10 like horror comedies because that's like my favorite genre. I know a lot of it's divisive. Like some people hate it, and not like some people.
So many good ones.
I swear a lot. My show is very explicit, guys. So if that bothers you, I'm sorry, but it's. I didn't mean you two jackholes. I meant the rest of
you. Trust me, the people who listen to us, they
they know.
They understand.
But yeah,
the five people that listen to us, they know.
Yeah, right. My 5-year-old used fucking the right context the other day, and I was like, I'm proud, but you probably shouldn't do that.
Oh, dude, I get in trouble all the time because like I laugh my ass off about my kids, man. My wife's like, you're just as bad as they are. And I'm like,
no, I'm not.
So something funny.
We call them daddy words. They're daddy words.
Yeah. And that's something you got to think of just real quick off. But something you should think of that I know changed your life tremendously is once you had a kid. You definitely had a different outlook on life.
Big time.
So that's something that definitely changed. Not everyone has to have a kid. I'm not saying that, but that is one of those situations and one of those things that happen in life that definitely changes your course and the way your brain thinks.
So I grew up with horror. Right, I watched Cannibal Holocaust at like age 5 or 6. I was way too young. Exorcist, you can see it's the poster behind my head there.
Yeah.
Signed by one of my favorite all-time movies of all time. My whole downstairs is dedicated to heavy metal and horror. I quit watching horror when my son was born for almost 2 years because I couldn't stop it.
Wow.
So that tells you something about what it means.
Yeah,
to be dad.
Right.
I was 35 years old, and horror had been my life for 30 years, and I couldn't stomach it. And I still can't watch the ending of The Mist.
I don't watch that movie. Yeah. My wife,
The Mist fucks me up every time I watch it.
He didn't have anything. On which me and him happened to. We went and watched the remake of It, and that opening scene with Georgie.
Yep.
I was like, I sat there. I literally looked over at T. I was like, I don't know if I can fucking do this.
Yeah.
I literally said that to him, like, because I at that time I just had my first son, and he was about that age. I had 2 boys now, but he was about that same age as that kid. And I'm just like, I don't know if I can fucking do this shit.
I love Hereditary now,
Right.
But it was hard to watch the first time I watched it because I didn't watch it when it first came out because I couldn't.
Right.
It Chapter 1 is one of my probably top 20 favorite movies of all time.
I love it.
Such a special place for it.
Right.
And it was really hard to watch because of, the Georgie scene and all that. But I read the book. The book's so special to me. It was one of the first Stephen King books I ever read. The 1990 miniseries is on rotation at my house.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's a great freaking right.
So it's weird the way that and that's one of those things like get back to what we were talking about before about like faith and stuff. Like
that's what I was saying.
I want something more because I want something more for him. I could care less if there's more for me.
Right.
But I never want him to stop learning and to stop being part of something.
See, my kid, it's funny. My kids love horror. I don't let them watch. I let them watch like the paranormal stuff mainly, and like some of the like. I don't really let them watch I don't let them watch Halloween stuff like that, but mainly my son is pissed at me because I won't let him watch those with me. But I let them. They love the paranormal stuff. Freaks them out, so I let them watch that stuff. It's funny because my youngest, he'll watch it all, and then he'll be like, "Dad, I'm gonna have nightmares." I'm like, quit watching it then. I'm like, go watch something. Go watch he watches some weird ass show. I'm like, go watch that, whatever that show was. I'm like, go watch that. He's like, no, I want to finish this movie. And I'm like, all right, well,
have you noticed even if they're not watching, they're always watching?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. And I'd be watching a movie at night because he'd be on his iPad ready to fall asleep. And I'd look over and he'd be watching the movie with me. And I'm like, you probably shouldn't be watching Hide and Go Shriek.
Yeah.
I don't the 1988 movie that you should be watching.
Yeah.
Any 80s movies, horror movies, is nothing but TNA and fucking.
It's nothing but that. So
that's what made them so good.
I'm a huge 80s horror fan. I love all horror movies, but 80s horror, I have VHS 80s horror.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it. And I think as part of it is as Joel Robinson would say, the cinematic nostalgia disorder of, the fact that I watched it way too young and now it's ingrained in my head. Knowing the difference between Cannibal Ferox and Cannibal Holocaust when you're 8 years old is not something that should be a thing.
Right.
But for some reason I did, so it's I don't want him to be that level-ish.
Right.
The Addams Family and the Universal Monsters and, maybe Monster Squad, those kind of things are fine.
Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
Silver Bullet. Yeah. Those kind of things. So.
Yeah, see, that's funny because one of the first movies I ever watched when I was younger was freaking Night of the Demons.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And now just that movie still holds up today.
That whole coffin scene.
Oh my god. But anyways, that movie does hold up today still. You can watch it and still fucking really enjoy it. But that whole intro of that movie I fucking love. It's just so nostalgic for me. It's completely 80s, just man. I remember used to sneak and watch that all the time. After I seen it the first time, I was like, oh. Now back then when I was young, I was like, oh, look at all the titties everywhere.
Yeah.
But then I grew to love the movie itself for the other reasons.
Because of the titties.
Well, yeah,
Now it's just 1A, 1B.
Yeah. But now I gotta tell you something. It's funny as shit, dude, real quick. I mean, we're gonna talk a little bit after we hang in this, but
after we hang out.
Anyways, so my son's right. My youngest son is a gangster, dude. So I got a 6-year-old, I got a 10-year-old. My youngest kid is the most loving, just awesome kid, cares about his family, will protect his brother to no end, But he's fucking goes from 0 to 100 real quick. So my oldest is always fucking with him. And it don't take long. I'll hear them fighting in the room or something, and then I'll hear like you hear the skin hitting because they're never wearing shirts, so you hear the smacks.
They're like dusting
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I hear him hit, and I'm like, here we go, and I'll be sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear him grunting and stuff, and all of a sudden I hear my oldest start bawling. And he's like, my nose. So because my youngest will punch you, kick you. Like they've been learning how to fight since they were little. I've trained them since they were like 3. But like they'll be fighting, dude. And like my youngest will hit. He goes for the shot. So, anyways, so they get into a fight, right? And he punched my oldest in the mouth really hard, and it hurt him. So my wife got home and we were talking about it with my oldest, and I'm like, listen, because he's got an attitude. I'm like, that attitude, and with you being mouthy and being mean to people, someone's gonna punch you in your fucking mouth one of these days, And then from my youngest son's room, he goes, yeah, someone already did. I was like, holy shit. My wife looked at me and I was fucking dying. She had her hand over her mouth. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like,
yeah. You're going to keep a leash on that one.
Yeah. But it's funny though, because he's the most loving kid. Like, he's so loving, and he loves his brother. Like he'll kill somebody for his brother. He'll even when we get him in trouble, his older brother, we'll get him in trouble for messing with him, and like we'll go to like give him a spanking or something because you hurt him, and he'll come running in the room and jump in between us and don't touch my brother, leave him alone. And I'm like, you're crying still from him just hurting you, and now you're protecting this guy.
Hell yeah!
But that was the funniest shit I ever heard, dude.
He's gonna be loyal as fuck, man. That's great.
Yeah, they're just funny. Their personalities are so funny, man. When I heard him say that shit out of his bedroom, I was because it was in the background. You don't expect it coming. We're having a conversation. All I hear is, yeah, someone already did. And I was like, Jesus.
You're going to need to open a separate bank account that just says bail money on it.
Yeah. Yeah, college fund and bail money.
Yeah. Funny enough, they have equal amounts in them.
Yeah. Like, well, I guess we can end this episode. We can hang up with you after we're done ending this. Oh, man. So this is how it goes, guys.
Yeah, Greg, good having you on tonight, man. It's always a blast, dude. Always a blast. Why don't you tell people where they can find you?
You can find us at Monsters and the Mosh Pit pretty much anywhere, or in that version of something like, I think we're like Monsters Mosh Pit on Twitter or some shit. Like, there's always a variation of it. But if you search Monsters and the Mosh Pit, you typically will find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Slasher. I don't even think people use Slasher anymore, but if they do, we're still there.
It sounds cool.
Hell yeah.
I don't post there, but maybe we're still there. But we're around. We have episodes that come out all the time. I went to Horror Hound a couple months ago. I know there's a new one coming out this weekend coming actually, and I wish I could have made it, but I just couldn't swing it with Scarefest so close. I want to go to Scarefest. I've already been to Horror Hound this year. So
we're talking about going to Scarefest.
Yeah,
Scarefest is such a fun show, and I love covering it. So I didn't want to. If I had to pick one, I already covered Horror Hound. I was one of the first podcasts to cover Horror Hound as a podcast, which was a lot of fun because we covered the film festival, and I got to meet a lot of great people. And what stemmed from that was I started a new segment on our show called the Sanguine Record, and that's where I actually do an interview. And it's not a structured interview in the sense that you would normally think of. It's a lot like what we did tonight, where it's just a lot of, bullshitting and talking about what these creators want to talk about. If they want to talk about their movie, then talk about their movie. I have an episode coming out with a short filmmaker that made, that made a film that premiered at Scarefest. Oh man.
Don't cry. It's going to be okay.
I get choked up about this stuff. You're going to hear an episode from the bassist from Byzantine, who's Byzantine's a local guys here from Charleston, West Virginia, that's gotten some national play, and they're great musicians. There's an episode on there from Hellbender creators John Adams and Toby Poser. It's a lot of fun just reaching out and talking to these creators, but it's more fun hearing what the creators want to talk about. like John Adams and Toby Poser wanted to talk about music and punk music and, you know, soundscapes and what it takes to make a movie with those kind of things. So it was just, you never know what you're going to get with it. So it's been a lot of fun doing that. So you can check us out on all streaming platforms. We have a lot of fun. We are not safe for work. Please do not put us on your Bluetooth speaker in your office building unless you want to call from HR saying that you're dumb.
Yeah. Right on. So guys, make sure you go check them out.
Yeah, the last thing I always tell everybody, we are the vanilla ice cream of horror and heavy metal podcasts, which means if we're the only option, we are very good. But if there's another option, you probably want to listen to them first.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. So
right
guys,
on.
check
Well,
them out. Monsters
Greg, good having you, man.
All right, horror fam. We love you guys. Thanks for supporting us. You guys know that. And more importantly, as always, until next time,
Keep it creepy.